Hello, this is Shushi. This is a video response to a post by NYFC in the MOTUNation forum. And it's regarding expression maps in Cubase and how we handle expression in Digital Performer. I've never used expression maps in Cubase. I've watched a video or two and they look interesting, but they also look busy. I don't know. I mean, without using them, I can't say how efficient that is. But generally, I like avoiding too many panels and windows. I like things that are kind of simple because when I'm phrasing music, I only want to be concentrating on the phrasing. And I hope someday that Steinberg shares their technology and that we are all able to use that. Seems like a good way to break away from the stranglehold that MIDI has held upon our musical expression. We've all wanted to do away with MIDI at some point. What a terrible format. And yet it's what we have. It's what we're working with. So we're kind of stuck with it until companies like Steinberg eventually make a standard that we can all use. Hopefully, we'll all be able to use it in windows like the one that we're looking at here, where everything's just right there in front of you, and you don't have to open up other windows and look at maps and these sorts of things that are separate from the window. But again, I don't know how to use expression maps. So what I'm going to do right now is just show you how I handle expression within Digital Performer. First of all, I use breath control or expression control. I rarely use volume because volume is really what runs the mixing board, and I like to keep that separate. So here's an example of saxophone and small orchestra done with breath controller with a WX5. That's how I handle it. It could easily be done with pedals, faders, whatever your choice of expressive control may be. I have a Behringer UMA 25S, a little bitty keyboard that plugs in through USB with 8 knobs that are very expressive. So that's another option. I mean, there are lots of options for expression. Ultimately, you get something like what you see here. And let's just play a little of this. Switching to show the expression in other tracks, like the cello track, for instance. Viola, violin 2, violin 1. Back to the sax. Here's our trumpet sordino. Coming up is the flute. And I think that gives you a pretty good idea of what goes on in Digital Performer. Of course, these parts are all soloable. You can look at one at a time. Simply hold down the Option key, click on a part, and you get just that part by itself. There's a violin part, violin 2, viola, cello, and down here you see key switches that are controlling the articulations. Now let's talk a moment about editing these controllers. After all, if you're going to do expressive controllers, you should be able to edit them the way you want them. The part we're looking at is unedited. It's pretty much the way I played it, I think. So we're going to do something to it. Let's see. Let's take a part like this right here. And let's say we want this to be a little louder. Well, that's simple enough. First of all, let's get rid of these velocities. You've seen I've selected a controller here. You hit the quick filter and everything else is gone. Now, let's select these notes that we're going to make a little louder or do something to them. And we need to change those into a range selection so that it picks up the controllers. There, that did it. If you want to find out how I did that, it's on page 2 of the Digital Performer tips sheet in MOTUNation in the main forum, the tips and optimization forum. Page 2, working with selections, I believe it's called. Anyway, okay, that's fast enough. You can see you can take any note or group of notes, say all these notes here, and you want to pick up the controllers for them. It's that fast. So we're just going to take these controllers for these notes right here, and let's take the reshape tool, and we're just going to do a little freehand work. Let's just see how it sounds. Maybe it stinks. Yeah, that pretty much stinks. But that's just an example of what you can do. Let's take another form of that. Let's move up here to the toolbar at the top of the screen, and let's choose Scale from that tool, and then a straight line from this tool. Now let's start a little louder than normal and pull it down a little less loud than normal. So we've kind of tilted our expression a little bit. Let's see how that comes out. I like it. It was like that. We changed it to that. That works for me. Now here's another thing. This note right here, I've never been happy with. It has this blob in it, and it doesn't really do anything. What we're going to do here is to edit this one note so that it has a bit of vibrato and a taper. This will be a breath vibrato instead of a pitch vibrato. So let's go up to the toolbar and choose Set and choose a sine wave. Tap the P key twice and you'll get the pencil tool. Click, drag. This is about a 2.5 second note. That's about, let's say, 12 cycles of the sine wave. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And might use the Shift key to compress it to the length of that note. Adjust the height a little bit. Now use the Option key to adjust the zero crossing. I want the zero crossing to be about the middle, so it goes up a little bit, comes back down. Let's make it actually go down more. Start a little high and then go down. Okay, so there we have our zero crossing. Bring it in, make it end on a down. Okay, there's our sine wave, more or less. Now, go back up here, select set and straight line. Let's give it just a little bit of a straight line before it goes anywhere. And we're going to make this come down to basically nothing, starting at about the 100% mark, bringing it down to maybe 10%. One little straggler there didn't come quite off. Okay, let's see what it sounds like. Okay, that more or less does it. I had to do a little extra cleaning up there. I wasn't very careful whenever I first did this. And this goes pretty fast whenever you're not trying to make a nice demonstration out of it. But at least you can see a little bit of what's possible with the edit tools. I've barely scratched the surface. I mean, the edit tools are deep. They do a lot. I couldn't possibly demonstrate it all in a video, no matter how long. So that's a short little tutorial on editing MIDI controllers, phrasing, etc. in Digital Performer. Thank you for listening. This is Shushi. Goodbye.